Just a short while back, the Taliban announced names of those who will be leading the government in a very crucial press briefing that was conducted just a short while back. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akon was named as the country's prime minister. Abdul Ghani Baradar will be the deputy leader, the deputy prime minister, and Sirajuddin Haqqani has also been named as the interior minister of the country. The Taliban announcing names of several acting cabinet ministers of this new caretaker government in Afghanistan. What do we know about Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akon, who has been named as Afghanistan's new prime minister? He is one of the founding members of the Taliban. He has been the head of the Rehbari Shura, or the powerful decision-making body of the outfit, for about 20 years now. He's also on the United Nations terror list. He has worked as a foreign minister under the Taliban rule in the 90s. Abdul Ghani Baradar, who has been named as the deputy leader. Mullah Yaqub, one of the deputy leaders of the Taliban since 2016, will be acting as the caretaker defense minister. Also named is the new acting interior minister, Sirajuddin Haqqani, who also heads the Taliban's most feared wing, Haqqani network. At the same time, during that press briefing, the Taliban spokesperson, Zabihullah Mujahid, outlining that this is only the acting list of ministers. Let's get in further details and clarity now from our correspondent Anas Malik, who was present during that press briefing. Anas, what more do we know at this point?
Well, I'm standing inside the hall where the announcement was made, Molly, and the announcement for the Taliban's government has been made. I'll just read it out to you. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akhundzada, he will be the prime minister, whereas Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar will be his deputy. Mullah Abdul Haq Wasiq will be the head of the NDS. Qari Fasiuddin will be the chief of army staff. Maulvi Yaqub, the son of Mullah Umar, will be the defense minister. Sirajuddin Haqqani will be the interior minister. Mullah Abdul Manan will be the Minister of Public Works, whereas Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi will be the Foreign Minister. Amir Khan Muttaqi's deputy will be Sher Muhammad Abbas Tanikzai. He will be the Deputy Foreign Minister. Qari Deen Muhammad will be the Minister of Economic Affairs. Haji Khalilur Rahman Haqqani will be the Minister of Refugees, whereas Abdul Baqi Haqqani will be the Minister of Higher Education. So the Taliban's government has been announced, the ministers has been announced just a short while back in a press conference by its Deputy Information Minister, Zabihullah Mujahid. He's been officially named as the Deputy Information Minister. Khairullah Khairkhwa will be his Information Minister. There are no women in this cabinet. There's a lot of skepticism with regards to international acceptance as well, primarily because at least 5 of the individuals that I can name are those who are UN listed individuals. Molly?
Indeed. So let's just break down for our viewers the list that we have at this point. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akon named as the country's prime minister. He is said to be very close to the Emir Sheikh Zada. He was one of the founding members of the Taliban. Anas, as you're pointing out, several of these names are UN designated terrorists, have been on UN terror lists. So is Hassan Akon, who is the new Prime Minister of Afghanistan. Apart from that, Sirajuddin Haqqani has been named as the Interior Minister, Anas. He has been also heading the Taliban's most feared wing, the Haqqani network, and also is a UN designated terrorist.
Well, yes, a lot of individuals that have been named in this cabinet, at least 5 of them that I can name. Mohammad Hassan Akon, the Prime Minister, Maulvi Sirajuddin Haqqani, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar. At least 5 of them are those who are UN listed individuals. So that remains a challenge. That question has not been answered as yet by the Taliban spokesperson and now the Deputy Information Minister of the Afghan Taliban, Zabihullah Mujahid, in his presser. We tried reaching out to him, but the other takeaway is that the country has now been declared, officially declared as an Islamic Emirate. It will not be an Islamic Republic. This is what has been confirmed by Ahmadullah Wasiq as well. And this is what the other highlight, the other key takeaway from this press conference is. So by and large, lots of takeaways, no women in this cabinet. We tried to ask that question to Zabihullah Mujahid. He was leaving since he did not take all of the questions. So he was leaving. We did try to ask him about that inclusive bit as well, but he could not answer that. The challenges for this government remain with regards to international legitimacy. First being the international legitimacy. Second being its nominated leaders being on the UN designated list. The third challenge would be, of course, with regards to seeking international funding, primarily because this cabinet, or as I said, there are UN listed individuals as well. Only time can tell that how inclusive this government is. By the looks of it, it does not look like that it's an inclusive government. And on the other hand, the date for a government formation is yet to be declared on that as well. So it is still increasingly unclear with regards to the way forward, but it does look like that it will not be an easy ride out for the Afghan Taliban government from this point onwards. Molly?
Right, Anas, apart from the names of the cabinet ministers that have been revealed, the names of the prime minister that has been revealed, several sections of that press briefing also very interesting comments that have been made by the Taliban spokesperson, also reacting to the anti-Pakistan protests that have been making headlines that were organized in Kabul earlier in the day. Responding to a question on that as well, the Taliban spokesperson saying that the news of the interference by Pakistan is not true.
Well, yes, the Taliban spokesperson saying that it is the reference of interference of Pakistan is mere propaganda, something that was along the expected lines. We were expecting that. We were expecting this comment. It was in response to a question posed by another journalist. There were protests that were done today in greater numbers. We saw that. We saw people being arrested as well. In response to a question on that, Zabihullah Mujahid said that those who break the law, who take the law in their own hands, will be dealt according to the law. Molly?
Right, stay with me, Anas. Anas Malik was present inside that press conference hall where this press briefing was delivered just a short while back by the Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid, outlining the power structure and revealing the names of those who will be a part of the new government in Afghanistan. Let's take our viewers through the names that have been announced just a short while back. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akon has been named as the leader of the government, as the Prime Minister of Afghanistan. Hassan Akon is said to be very close to the leader, Sheikh Hibatullah Akhundzada. He is one of the founding members of the Taliban and has been the head of what's called the Rehbari Shura, or the decision-making body of the Taliban, for over 20 years. He is also on a United Nations terror list. Hassan has worked as the foreign minister earlier under the Taliban's rule during the 1990s. Apart from the country's prime minister, names of several other ministers have been revealed. Abdul Ghani Baradar will be the deputy leader. Sirajuddin Haqqani has been named as Afghanistan's interior minister. He has been heading the Taliban's most feared wing, Haqqani network. The Taliban at the same time saying that these are the names of acting cabinet ministers. Let's get in further details on that front from our correspondent Anas Malik. Anas, help us better understand what the Taliban means. Do we know what they mean when they say that these are acting ministers? Do we expect further clarity on that front?
Well, the list is now out officially, and I'll just read it out from the list. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akhundzada will be the head of state. Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar will be the Mawban Rais, that means the deputy head of state. And Mullah Abdul Salam Hanafi would also be the deputy head of state, or Mawban Rais al-Wuzra, that means the deputy council, the chief of the deputy council of ministers. And Abdul Salam Hanafi would also be the chief of deputy council of ministers. Mullah Muhammad Mujahid would be the defense minister. Mullah Sirajuddin Sirajuddin Haqqani will be the Interior Minister. Amir Khan Muttaqi will be the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Mullah Hidayatul Badri will be the Finance Minister. Sheikh Maulvi Nurullah Munir will also be a Minister. Mullah Khairullah Khairkhwa will be the Information and Culture Minister. Qari Deed Muhammad Hanif will be the Economic Affairs Minister. Maulvi Nur Muhammad Saqib will be the Justice Minister. Maulvi Abdul Hakim Sharei will be the Law Minister. Will be the Law Minister. Nurullah Nuri will be the Minister for Affairs on with regards to borders, and Yunus Akhundzada will be the Minister for Agriculture. Sheikh Muhammad Khalid will be the Minister. Will be the Minister. Mullah Abdul Manan Umari will be the Fawaid Amma, the Public Affairs Minister. Mullah Mohammad Wes Akhund will be the Deputy for Petroleum. Mullah Abdul Latif Mansoor will be the Electricity Minister. Mullah Hamidullah Akhundzada will also be a Minister. Abdul Waqi Haqqani will be the Minister for Tehsilat. Najibullah Haqqani will be so we've got and then we have Khalilur Rahman Haqqani as well, who will be the Minister for Migration Affairs. Abdul Haq Wasiq will be the Chief of the NDS or the Intelligence. We have Haji Muhammad Idris for Afghanistan Bank. We have Maulvi Ahmad Jan for others as well. So they've named a comprehensive cabinet that includes the Chief of the NDS and the Chief of Army Staff alongside their Minister of Defense as well. Molly?
Right. Anas, let's also talk about the other aspects of that press briefing where the Taliban have emphasized their stance once again when it comes to the power structure, when it comes to governance in Afghanistan, outlining how this is the acting government for now. We do expect some clarity on that front, on what exactly that means. Also, as anticipated, as expected, rejecting the allegations that have been raised on multiple fronts of Pakistan interference in Afghanistan. Remember, earlier in the day, several people had gathered in the capital, Kabul, protesting against Pakistan, protesting against Pakistan's interference in the affairs of Afghanistan. Those protests have been dominating headlines. The Taliban, as anticipated, as expected, rejecting those developments as being mere rumors. But we do know that the Taliban has acted stringently during and after those demonstrations that were held right in the capital, Kabul. Hundreds of those protesters who had gathered, including women, an act of bravery in itself to protest in a country that is ruled by the Taliban. The Taliban spokesperson there also reacting to these protests as anticipated, rejecting the developments as being mere speculation and calling them rumors. At the same time, the Taliban has been reiterating their stance when it comes to governance in the country, saying that they want good relations with all countries. Also saying that they will not allow anyone to exploit them. This is a crucial development when it comes to the Taliban ruling over Afghanistan after they took over the capital, Kabul, on the 15th of August. Swift territorial gains that have been made. And in another crucial development, they've also taken control of the resistance holdout province of Panjshir, even though the National Resistance Forces, who have been leading the opposition to the Taliban in that crucial province, have rejected these claims. The Taliban has said that they have captured the holdout province of Panjshir. At the same time, the whereabouts of the leaders of the national resistance are not known at this point. Hundreds of people had taken to the streets of the capital, Kabul, earlier in the day. They were slamming Pakistan, saying that Islamabad has been interfering in the affairs of Afghanistan after it was reported, and said that Pakistan had helped the Taliban in that crucial battle for control of Panjshir. Anas, if my voice is going through to you, several names that have been announced by the Taliban when it comes to the government formation. Another crucial announcement has been about the country's army chief.
Well, yes, the most interesting, perhaps one of the most interesting names in this cabinet is Qari Fasihuddin, who's been named as the Chief of Army Staff, hailing from North. He has been seen as somebody who's been who is the pioneer of leading the Taliban into the North, into the offensive on the North. He hails from Badakhshan, from Faizabad. He led the offensive over there. Then he was brought all the way to lead the fight in Panjshir as well, which seemed like on the face of it that it was not possible for the Taliban to overrun. Qari Fasihuddin was the one who was leading it. There were rumors of his death as well. Not the first time the rumors of his death. We saw the rumors of his death in Herat. We saw the rumors of his death in Badakhshan. Now we heard as late as day before the rumors of his death in Panjshir as well. But then the Taliban coming out with a video message, with a video interview rather of Qari Fasihuddin, clarifying that he's alive. An interesting character on the face of it, because primarily because Taliban were seen as a force from the south and not from the north. Therefore, the appointment of somebody from the northern side of the country as the army chief would be something that would be keenly looked out. Molly?
Right, Anas, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for getting us a better sense of the key takeaways from that press briefing that was delivered by the Taliban just a short while back. Crucial announcements that have been made on government formation in Afghanistan, what the power structure is going to look like. Let's once again remind our viewers that the names that have been announced by the Taliban, several of those names have raised eyebrows when it comes to their linkages, when it comes to the very fact that the country's prime minister has been on the United Nations terror list. Mullah Mohammad Hassan Akon has been named as the leader of the new government. He is said to be very close to the Emir Sheikh Abdullah Akhundzada. He is also one of the founding members of the Taliban and has been the head of the Taliban's powerful decision-making body called the Rehbari Shura for over 20 years. He also worked as the foreign minister under the Taliban's rule during the 1990s. Other crucial names on that list being Sirajuddin Haqqani, who has been named as the new acting interior minister of Afghanistan. He heads the Taliban's most feared wing, the Haqqani network, and also is a globally designated terrorist. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.